Today is the 25th of August 2010, and this is the 37th time we are talking on the Majjhima Nikaya. And now we come to Majjhima Nikaya Sutta number 90, Kannakatthala Sutta at Kannakattala. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Ujjunia in the Kannakattala deer park. On that occasion, King Pasenadi of Kosala had arrived at Ujjunia for some business or other. Then he told the man, "Come, good man, go to the Blessed One and pay homage in my name with your head at his feet and ask whether he is free from illness and affliction and is healthy, strong and abiding in comfort," saying, "Venerable Sir, King Pasenadi of Kosala pays homage with his head at the Blessed One's feet and asks whether the Blessed One is free from illness and affliction, etc., and abiding in comfort, and say this, Venerable Sir, today King Pasenadi of Kosala will come to see the Blessed One after he has had his breakfast." "Yes, sire," the man replied. And he went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, he sat down at one side and delivered his message. The sisters Soma and Sakula heard, "Today the King Pasenadi of Kosala will go to see the Blessed One after he has had his breakfast." Then while the meal was being served, the two sisters went to the king and said, "Sire, pay homage in our name with your head at the Blessed One's feet and ask whether he is free from illness and affliction, etc., saying, Venerable Sir, the sisters Soma and Sakula pay homage with their heads at the Blessed One's feet, and they ask whether he is free from illness and abiding in comfort." Stop here for a moment. These two sisters, Soma and Sakula, are supposed to be King Pasenadi's wives. Then when he had finished his breakfast, King Pasenadi of Kosala went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, he sat down at one side and delivered the message of the sisters Soma and Sakula. And the Buddha said, "But great king, could the sisters Soma and Sakula find no other messenger?" "Venerable Sir, the sisters Soma and Sakula heard, today King Pasenadi of Kosala will go to see the Blessed One after he has had his breakfast. Then while the meal was being served, the sisters Soma and Sakula came to me and said, Sire, pay homage in our names with your head at the Blessed One's feet and ask whether he is free from illness and affliction, etc. And the Buddha said, "May the sisters Soma and Sakula be happy, great king." Then King Pasenadi of Kosala said to the Blessed One, "Venerable Sir, I have heard this. The recluse Gotama says, there is no recluse or Brahmin who is omniscient and all-seeing, who can claim to have complete knowledge and vision. That is not possible. Venerable Sir, do those who speak thus say what has been said by the Blessed One, and not misrepresent him with what is contrary to fact? Do they explain in accordance with the Dhamma in such a way that nothing that provides a ground for censure can be legitimately deduced from their assertions? Great king, those who speak thus do not say what has been said by me, but misrepresent me with what is untrue and contrary to fact." Then King Pasenadi of Kosala addressed General Vidudaba, "General, who introduced this story into the palace?" "It was Sanjaya, sire, the Brahmin of the Akasa clan." Then King Pasenadi of Kosala told a man, "Come, good man, in my name, tell Sanjaya, the Brahmin of the Akasa clan, Venerable Sir, King Pasenadi of Kosala calls you." "Yes, sire," the man replied. He went to Sanjaya, the Brahmin of the Akasa clan, and told him, "Venerable Sir, King Pasenadi of Kosala calls you." Meanwhile, King Pasenadi of Kosala said to the Blessed One, "Venerable Sir, could something else have been said by the Blessed One referring to that, and the person understood it wrongly? In what way does the Blessed One recall making that utterance?" And the Buddha said, "I recall having actually made the utterance in this way, great king. There is no recluse or Brahmin who knows all, who sees all simultaneously. That is not possible. And the king said, what the Blessed One has said appears reasonable. What the Blessed One has said appears to be supported by reason. There is no recluse or Brahmin who knows all, who sees all simultaneously. That is not possible. Stop here for a moment. So here it appears like at this point of time, King Pasenadi of Kosala was still new to the Buddha. So that's why he asked the Buddha about this. Whether ascetic or monk can be omniscient and all seem to have complete knowledge and vision. And the Buddha said, it is not possible for a recluse or Brahmin to know all and to see all simultaneously. What the Buddha means is that, like the Buddha is supposed to be omniscient and all-seeing, but he doesn't know everything all the time. Only when he wants to know something, he has to contemplate, and then after contemplating only, he can know. It's not automatic. He knows everything at the tips of his fingers. That is why we find in the Vinaya books, after the Buddha was enlightened, he wanted to understand this dependent origination fully. So after his enlightenment, he spent the whole night sitting in meditation, contemplating dependent origination. It is said the first 4 hours in the first watch of the night, from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m., he contemplated the arising of dependent origination. Then the middle watch from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., he contemplated the ceasing of dependent origination. And then the last watch, 2 to 6 a.m., he contemplated arising and ceasing of dependent origination. Then after 12 hours, then only he fully understood dependent origination. So it's not automatic that ascetic or anybody can know everything all the time. He has to contemplate. Then the king said, there are these 4 castes, Venerable Sir, the nobles, the Brahmins, the merchants and the workers. Is there any distinction or difference among them? And the Buddha said, there are these 4 castes, great king, the nobles, Brahmins, merchants and workers. 2 of them, that is the nobles and Brahmins, are held to be superior, since men pay homage to them, rise up for them and accord them reverential salutation and polite services. And the king said, Venerable Sir, I was not asking about this present life. I was asking about the life to come. There are these 4 castes, Venerable Sir, the nobles, Brahmins, merchants and workers. Is there any distinction or difference among them? Buddha said, great king, there are these 5 factors of striving. What 5? Here a monk has faith. He places his faith in the Tathagata's enlightenment thus. The Blessed One is Arahant, Sammasambuddha, perfect in true knowledge and conduct, sublime, knower of worlds, incomparable leader of persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened, blessed. Then he is free from illness and affliction, possessing a good digestion that is neither too cool nor too warm, but medium, and able to bear the strain of striving. Then he is honest and sincere, and shows himself as he actually is to his teacher and his companions in the holy life. Then he is energetic in abandoning unwholesome states and in undertaking wholesome states, steadfast, launching his effort with firmness and persevering in cultivating wholesome states. Then he is wise. He possesses wisdom regarding rise and disappearance, that is noble and penetrative, and leads to the complete destruction of suffering. These are the 5 factors of striving. There are these 4 castes, great king, the nobles, Brahmins, merchants and workers. Now if they possess these 5 factors of striving, it would lead to their welfare and happiness for a long time. Venerable Sir, there are these 4 castes, the nobles, Brahmins, merchants and workers. Now if they possess these 5 factors of striving, would there be any difference among them here in that respect? Here, great king, I say that the difference among them would lie in the diversity of their striving. Suppose there were 2 tameable elephants or tameable horses or tameable oxen that were well tamed and well disciplined, and 2 tameable elephants or tameable horses or tameable oxen that were untamed and undisciplined. What do you think, great king? Would the 2 tameable elephants or tameable horses or tameable oxen that were well tamed and well disciplined, being tamed, acquire the behavior of the tamed? Would they arrive at the grade of the tamed? Yes, Venerable Sir. And would the 2 tameable elephants or tameable horses or tameable oxen that were untamed and undisciplined, being untamed, acquire the behavior of the tamed? Would they arrive at the grade of the tamed, like the 2 elephants or horses or oxen that were well tamed and well disciplined? No, Venerable Sir. So too, great king, it is not possible that what can be achieved by one who has faith, who is free from illness, who is honest and sincere, who is energetic, who is wise, can be achieved by one who has no faith, who has much illness, who is fraudulent and deceitful, who is lazy and who is not wise. What the Blessed One has said appears reasonable. What the Blessed One has said appears to be supported by reason. Stop here for a moment. So here, when the king asked the Buddha whether after this lifetime, in the future lifetime, would there be any difference between the 4 castes, people, whether they are nobles, Brahmins, merchants and workers. And the Buddha said there are these 5 factors of striving. If they possess these factors of striving, then they would arrive at the grade of the tamed. But if they don't possess these factors of striving, then they cannot. And the king asks again, there are these 4 castes, Venerable Sir, the nobles, Brahmins, merchants and workers. Now if they possess these 5 factors of striving, and if their striving was right, would there be any difference among them in that respect? Here, great king, in this respect, I say that among them there is no difference, that is, between the deliverance of one and the deliverance or liberation of the others. Suppose a man took dry saka wood, lit a fire and produced heat, and then another man took dry sala wood, lit a fire and produced heat, and then another man took dry mango wood, lit a fire and produced heat, and then another man took dry fig wood, lit a fire and produced heat. What do you think, great king? Would there be any difference among these fires lit with different kinds of wood, that is, between the flame of one and the flames of the others, or between the color of one and the color of the others, or between the radiance of one and the radiances of the others? No, Venerable Sir. So too, great king, when a fire is kindled by energy, lit by striving, there is, I say, no difference, that is, between the liberation of one and the liberation of the others. What the Blessed One has said appears reasonable. What the Blessed One has said appears to be supported by reason. So the Buddha says, if these people, no matter what caste, if they possess these factors of striving and attain liberation, and there is no difference in their liberation. But Venerable Sir, how is it? Are there gods? Why do you ask that, great king? Venerable Sir, I was asking whether those gods come back to this human state or whether they do not. Great king, those gods who are still subject to affliction come back to this human state. Those gods who are no longer subject to affliction do not come back to this human state. When this was said, General Vidu Daba asked the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, can those gods who are still subject to affliction and who come back to this human state topple or banish from that place those gods who are no longer subject to affliction and do not come back to this human state? Then the Venerable Ananda thought, this General Vidu Daba is the son of King Pasenadi of Kosala, and I am the son of the Blessed One. This is the time for one son to talk with the other. He said to General Vidu Daba, General, I shall ask you a question in return. Answer it as you choose. General, what do you think? There is the whole extent of King Pasenadi of Kosala's realm, where he exercises lordship and sovereignty. Now can King Pasenadi of Kosala topple or banish from that place any recluse or Brahmin, irrespective of whether that recluse or Brahmin has merit or not? and whether he leads the holy life or not. He can do so, sir. What do you think, General? There is the whole extent that is not King Pasenadi of Kosala's realm, where he does not exercise lordship and sovereignty. Now can King Pasenadi of Kosala topple or banish from that place any recluse or Brahmin, irrespective of whether that recluse or Brahmin has merit or not, and whether he leads the holy life or not? He cannot do so, sir. General, what do you think? Have you heard of the gods of the 33? Yes, sir, I have heard of them. And King Pasenadi of Kosala has heard of them too. General, what do you think? Can King Pasenadi of Kosala topple the gods of the 33 or banish them from that place? Sir, King Pasenadi of Kosala cannot even see the gods of the 33. So how can he topple them or banish them from that place? So too, General, those gods who are still subject to affliction and who come back to this human state cannot even see those gods who are no longer subject to affliction and who do not come back to this human state. So how could they topple them or banish them from that place? Then King Pasenadi of Kosala asked the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, what is this monk's name? His name is Ananda, great king. Ananda, which means joy. He is indeed Venerable Sir, and Ananda he appears. What the Venerable Ananda has said appears reasonable. What he has said appears to be supported by reason. So when he found that the Venerable Ananda's name was Joy, he said, Joy he is indeed. Joy he appears. So this general just now he asked whether those gods who come back to this human state, whether they can topple those gods who do not come back. He didn't realize that the gods who do not come back are at a higher level. So the lower level gods cannot see the higher level gods. How can they banish them? But Venerable Sir, how is it? Are there Brahmas? Brahmas are these type of gods that Indians like to pray to. Why do you ask that, great king? Venerable Sir, I was asking whether those Brahmas come back to this human state or whether they do not. Great king, any Brahma who is still subject to affliction comes back to this human state. Any Brahma who is no longer subject to affliction does not come back to this human state. Then a man announced to King Pasenadi of Kosala, Great king, Sanjaya, the Brahmin of the Akasa clan, has come. King Pasenadi of Kosala asked Sanjaya, the Brahmin of the Akasa clan, Brahmin, who introduced this story to the palace? Sire, it was King Vidudaba. General Vidudaba said, Sire, it was Sanjaya, the Brahmin of the Akasa clan. Then a man announced to King Pasenadi of Kosala, Sire, it is time to depart. King Pasenadi of Kosala said to the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, we have asked the Blessed One about omniscience, and the Blessed One has answered about omniscience. We approve of and accept that answer, and so we are satisfied. We have asked the Blessed One about purification in the four castes, and the Blessed One has answered about purification in the four castes. We approve of and accept that answer, and so we are satisfied. We have asked the Blessed One about the gods, and the Blessed One has answered about the gods. We approve of and accept that answer, and so we are satisfied. We have asked the Blessed One about the Brahmas, and the Blessed One has answered about the Brahmas. We approve of and accept that answer, and so we are satisfied. Whatever we ask the Blessed One, that the Blessed One has answered. We approve of and accept those answers, and so we are satisfied. And now, Venerable Sir, we depart. We are busy and have much to do. Now is the time, great king, to do as you think fit. Then King Pasenadi of Kosala, having delighted and rejoiced in the Blessed One's words, rose from his seat, and after paying homage to the Blessed One, keeping him on his right, he departed. That's the end of the sutta. So when this Brahmin, Sanjaya of the Akasa clan, the general said he is the one who said that the Buddha said that, what did he say earlier? There is no recluse or Brahmin who is omniscient and all-seeing, who can claim to have complete knowledge and vision. That is not possible. So the general Vidudaba said this, Sanjaya, the Brahmin, said this. But when the king asked him, he got frightened. He said, I didn't say that. He said, the general said that. And the general said, I didn't say that. So then probably one of the persons, he saw this difficult situation, then he told the king, it's time to depart. But it's actually a small matter, but when they come in front of the king, everybody is afraid of the king. They don't want to take the blame. So this sutta shows that at that time, King Pasenadi of Kosala, who later became a very staunch supporter of the Buddha, at that time he still did not understand much of the Dhamma. Still didn't understand much of the Buddha also. So he had a lot of questions to ask. That's only later he understood, had no more questions to ask.